Hello and welcome to London Tech Week. It's Monday, it's the start of the week, and I'm delighted to be joined by the three founding partners of the week itself. Carolyn Dawson from Informa Tech, Russ Shaw from Tech London Advocates and Global Tech Advocates, and Coyle from London and Partners. One and all, welcome. Now, tell me something, because Janet, this is a very special week, and I know that it's something you've been involved with over all of the years. Tell us why it's so special.
Well, Ollie, we're now in our 8th year of London Tech Week. It's a very special week for us because it's an opportunity to really convene, thousands of people in the tech ecosystem, so investors, tech champions, influencers, policymakers, and to forge all those new connections that we've all been really keen to do over the last 12, 18 months.
And to say why this is even more remarkable, of course, this can happen in person, it can happen virtually, and I guess to a large extent that has increased its reach.
Absolutely. I think last year we were all virtual, fully virtual. Now we're properly hybrid. So we have virtual, we have moments when we're bringing people together, we have round tables. So plenty of opportunity to make those connections and really, together talk about how tech can accelerate the impact we can have around the world.
Absolutely, and we're going to dig into some of that in our brief chat now. Carolyn, why is London Tech Week so special for you?
I think it's an incredibly special moment because it really is the convening power of that week. And so as Janet said, you're bringing together all the ecosystem together. We're doing it in the physical and hybrid formats, but it's a celebration. It's a celebration of all the UK and across the UK has achieved, not only I think in our national scene, but on an international stage, about the position that we have and what we have to give to the entire tech ecosystem. So that really, it's a celebration moment and it all comes together in 1 week.
Yeah, and it tees up, Russ, doesn't it? Quite a responsibility actually as well. I mean, you practically or literally have an advocate in every city now. Beyond a celebration, what else is this week?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to put the spotlight on London, the UK, the tech sector, and the people and the talent that are behind all of these organizations, all of these meetings. And we're going to talk about so many things, from climate change to future of work to how we connect London and the UK to every global tech hub around the world. So for me, it's really exciting to see over 8 years how this has morphed and evolved to be such a critical event for the UK tech sector.
Now, I'm going to ask you an extremely unfair question because I want your picks of the week. We're going to navigate London Tech Week together. So let me put you on the spot, Carolyn. What would you single out? Where should we be looking as we browse everything on offer?
Well, my particular favourite is always the Elevating Founders and Founders of the Future, which is really all around the next generation. I think I'm passionate about seeing this as a platform for our future entrepreneurs, our future tech talent to really understand what the ecosystem can do for them and what we can offer. So for me, it's always about the next generation.
Right, and what's great about Elevating Founders is you've got some of these huge global corporates in the mix, so the big supporting the smaller, that's got to be a powerful ingredient.
Definitely. I mean, we need champions, we need mentors, we need the support. And it's not only about the capital, but it is about that menteeship. And therefore, I think we're able to bring people together in that environment and really help the next generation forge their path through the UK tech ecosystem.
Yeah, 100%. So Russ, the diary's out, Monday today. What have you put a red circle around?
Oh, I've got lots of red circles in my diary, as you can imagine. Later today, Global Tech Advocates, we're hosting an event, a virtual event. And we're going to travel the world in 90 minutes. We're going to start with Tech Australia Advocates. It's going to be very late there. We're going to finish with Tech Bay Area Advocates in California. And the focus for us is every GTA leader is going to talk about tech for net zero, why it's important for their tech hub, why it's important for them to be connecting to London Tech, and their thoughts about COP26, which is coming in November. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's certainly worth looking at the climate tech agenda as well this week. I know Stephen Murphy is cooking up a storm on that front as well. Janet, what is in your diary?
Like Russ, I think I've got a packed week ahead, which I'm very excited about. I think for me, the golden thread across the week is innovation. And today we've got the Global Leaders Innovation Summit, both virtual and physical. So I'm very excited about the discussions that we're going to have today. We have the founder and CEO of Klarna. We have the founder and CEO of Olio. So range of sectors, but all looking about how innovation can really drive change. So that's what I find really exciting.
So one thing I notice about all three of you across the whole year, not just the week, is championing people from diverse backgrounds, especially around female founders, women in business. Janet, this runs through the week as well. Any tip-offs on that front?
It's just so important that the tech ecosystem is accessible by everybody. It's a tech ecosystem that's diverse, that has that whole creative energy. And I think we have a real responsibility at London Tech Week, all the speakers, all the mentors, all the attendees, that we all have a responsibility to drive change in this sector, and diversity, key element of that.
And can you give me any sense, Carolyn, of the extent to which some of these tech leaders are stepping up now to solve the biggest challenges that we face as a planet? Because I get a sense that the direction of travel has really, really changed, and certainly the speed has increased.
I think so. I don't think it's an add-on part to people's agendas now. I think it's starting to be built in. So yes, we have a program, Accelerate Her, for tackling diversity. We have Black Tech Fest coming up in October again to kind of deal with the ethnic minority for tech. But I think more importantly, it's having it built into every single agenda and everything that we do. And I think we're starting to see that come forward naturally, and people coming to the conversation and forward and not accepting actually their positions or their roles and things unless we are diverse and inclusive.
And on that responsibility, briefly, Russ, anything that we need to remind ourselves about London that gives us, it could be an advantage, I guess in another way it's increasing our responsibility. How well placed are we to be those problem solvers?
Oh, I think we're incredibly well placed. And I think if you look at the week, there are some really large-scale events which are very exciting, but I'm also very interested in the grassroots community events. We've got a number of events happening in a number of boroughs around London. Newham's hosting an event. Hammersmith and Fulham is hosting an event. We've got our TLA Young Entrepreneurs launch happening in Peckham and Southwark. So I think it's really important to remember that, London, it's global, it's dynamic, it's world leading, but it is made up of people from the grassroots, from these different communities driving these agendas. And that to me is where this has been such an exciting event. I go to other big tech events around the world and I think they often forget what's going on locally. And I think that's something that we haven't forgotten.
Yeah, it's core to London and Partners' mission, I know. Janet, just give me one steer, Janet, briefly, because one thing I'm conscious that one could miss out on if you're not in person is this ability to meet, the fellow participants of London Tech Week. So to what extent is that possible if you're sat at home or somewhere not in London this week?
Absolutely. So meeting people, forging those new connections is the beauty of London Tech Week. So if you are sat at home joining us virtually, do take the time to network virtually. We've made it very easy for you. You can even actually type in your profile of who you would like to meet, the sector, the type of industry you're in, and you can actually network on the virtual platform. If you're with us physically, do let one of us know if you're in the room and who you want to meet. Never be shy about asking if you can be connected to a speaker or to a moderator or someone else in the room. So the teams are there to help you connect and have impact.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to, firstly, following the hashtag Where's Russ, which is one of my favorite follows of the week as he wears out another pair of shoes, but also, of course, the hashtag LTW to find out what you have made of the week. How about a piece of advice, particularly for someone maybe slightly new to London Tech Week, how to get the most from the week? It could be as practical as you like. Carolyn?
I would say go for the perhaps less obvious, because it's always interesting to learn something new. And so go off grid on the agendas and really dig deep, because there is so much on offer.
Oh, I like it. That's mischievous. That's good. Okay, so open your mind.
Yes, I think so.
I like that a lot. Janet, what would you share with us?
Two things probably. I'd say be open to listen to new ideas, but also really engage. It's like everything. If you go to an event or you join virtually, the more you engage, ask questions, give your opinion, you'll get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, it's brilliant advice. Russ, your top tips?
I think a top tip is, from my perspective, is there's a lot going on. if you can, try and get to as many events as you can, even if it's for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And with the virtual platform, with SwapCard, it's easy to do that. Because by the end of the week, a story, a picture will have been painted for you on a variety of topics that are critical for the tech sector and more broadly what's happening in our ecosystem. So I encourage people to do that.
It's great advice. Well, you represent the 3 founders of London Tech Week. I mean, we should just reflect briefly, Carolyn, that actually it's a whole host of partners that bring this to life. And it's worth just remembering that, because without their support, we wouldn't be here today.
It really is. We always say that London Tech Week is a platform, it's open. We want to work with as many partners as possible because we only achieve this by all coming together and again, kind of looking at that convening moment. So absolutely a massive thank you to everyone really that gets involved.
Yeah, and I know that some of those include some broadcast partners, some tech partners, some of the biggest companies in the world. So we're hugely grateful to all of them for their support. And one final rallying call, Russ, anyone that isn't yet at the table, anyone that we need to reach even further to engage with this kind of week, because the last thing we would want to become, I think, is the sort of inner circle, the sort of excluding organisation.
I mean, it's called London Tech Week, but I think there's also many events for people who would not necessarily think that they work or are part of the tech sector. And I think that's the beauty of the week. It's very accessible. Many of the events are free. So even if you're just curious about what's happening in tech or understanding how tech is working with your particular industry or sector or education, come and join, dip into it. It's ever so easy to do so, and we want to have as many as possible participate.
Yeah, brilliant. And on that same theme, Janet, how do you know when London Tech Week has achieved its goals? What are the sort of things you're looking for as feedback?
I think, will we ever achieve our goals? We've got big ambitions for the coming years as well. So I think the feedback will be obviously the attendance and any feedback we get from the guests and the speakers, but just the vibe and the interactions that we're experiencing throughout the week. And other, sort of business deals, of course, it's always great if there's new partnerships formed and new innovation ideas actually cemented and developed. But I think this is more about coming out of the pandemic, bringing people together, giving them that really fantastic experience and opportunity to connect. I think for us, that would be a really great achievement.
Yeah, it's almost a huge unlocking in that sense, isn't it? A reconnecting as well, and welcoming many more guests to the table as well. Carolyn, it's useful, I think, to remember that actually, despite having 3 fantastic founders represented today, actually London Tech Week is almost like a tapestry of amazing partners that come together to make it all possible.
Oh, it absolutely is. We couldn't do this without all the many partners and stakeholders that we work with. In particular this year, we've worked with ITN on looking at emerging technologies with our Chief Research Officer to really think about the impact on technology in the future, which has been a fantastic collaboration. So absolutely could not do this without all the many partners that we do work with.
Yeah, I think it's unbelievably important because actually working with great storytellers helps us just amplify this message. I think, and Russ, I hope you all agree, that increasingly around the world, that's how it seems to resonate.
Oh, absolutely. The outreach of London Tech Week now from where we were 7 or 8 years ago is just phenomenal in terms of the interest, the engagement. And obviously, as we come out of the pandemic, it's still hard for people to travel here, but many people from overseas are really engaged in what's happening here. And through Global Tech Advocates, we're really trying to push a lot of that as well.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Well, let me say a personal thank you to you all, Janet, Coyle, Russ, Shaw and Carolyn Dawson, for the role that you continue to play in making this such a special week. And I look forward to trying my best to track you during the week itself. Thank you. Well, it begins. It's Monday. It's London Tech Week. And let me wish you all the best for what I know is going to be a fantastic week of conversations and connections, starting today with the Global Leaders Innovation Summit. Thank you and goodbye.